Hello, Sally.
Good morning. This is the start of our beginning bridge review session on Zoom. This is for week four's review. Hey, Liz, I see you and I can hear you also.
Okay, great.
Becky's the only one we don't have yet. I don't think Becky can hear us, but I can see her. I think she can see us. So we're going to start out with Corey had a question. So, Corey, what was your question for today?
I've always been confused as far as opening a hand. If you've got 6, you don't have 13. So I always thought that you couldn't open a bid until your partner opened something with 13. This last class, say I start and I pass because I've got 7 points.
Mhm.
And then East bids a spade. Oh, excuse me, no, a heart. And then my partner passes. And then West bids 1 spade.
Mhm.
Now, I can actually bid now, correct? I thought but someone in my team had to open the bidding. But if I've got 6 points, could I do?
No, you're a little
say
bit
something?
confused, a little bit confused. And we're going to talk more about this starting in the next session, a couple of weeks from now. We're going to talk more about this because what you're talking about now is competitive bidding. That's after the opponents have bid something. And the rules do change for that. Okay. But right now we are not doing competitive bidding. So in the hands that we're looking at now, you shouldn't be bidding anything if you haven't opened or your partner hasn't bid. So you shouldn't be bidding over the opponent's bid yet. But the rules do change, and you don't need as many points to bid over the opponent's bidding. We're going to find out that you only need about 8 points to bid in that case. So, but
So then,
that's
okay, so if I pass initially and my partner bids 2 diamonds or 1 diamond, excuse me. And then I would, if I have say 4 hearts, I can now say 1 heart,
that's correct.
and that is showing 6 to 9 points. So then
That's
later
showing
on,
six. That's showing a minimum of 6 points. There is no top, except that since you're a passed hand, you passed at the beginning. We know you're somewhere between 6 and 12 points.
okay, that was my confusion.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Good. Yeah, you can pass. And then when your partner bids, your partner had the 13 points. Now you're in the position of do you have 6 points to respond?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay, good. Anybody else have a question? Anything that's been confusing them about what we've talked about? All right, let's go over then and look at some of the things that we talked about last week. And the first thing I want to look at is this putting it all together. This handout we gave at this week's class, this past week's class, and this is like a summary of everything that we've covered so far. It covers both because we've talked about opening and responding in a major suit and opening and responding in a minor suit. And this kind of puts everything together in one, okay? And it's got 2 sections. The top part talks about the opener, and the second part talks about the responder. So the 2 blue sections, the top talks about the opener, the bottom one talks about the responder. So let's look first at the openers part. And just like we've talked about before, when you are opening the bidding, there is a priority. You need to have between 13 and 21 points to open. Now, some people open with 12 points. Many people do. We've gone more and more towards opening with 12 or even 11 points. So it's not unusual, but in this class, you must open with 13 points, okay? And I want you guys to promise me that you will always open with 13 points. If you have 13 points, you must open. You can't go, I don't know what I should bid, and so I passed. You must find something to bid. And what you're going to bid is one of three things. You're either going to bid your first priority, one no trump, if you can. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about one no trump in our next class coming up this week. But one no trump is an exactly described hand of 15 to 17 points and a balanced hand. So we're going to be covering that. But the other two options, the next priority is to bid a major suit if you can. And to do that, you need to have 5 in the suit. You're promising 5 if you open a major suit. If you can't do no trump and you don't have a major suit to open, then you open your best minor suit. And that's kind of what we talked about before. After your partner has bid something, if it comes back to you to bid again, you need to tell then the range, because the first range, if you open one club, one diamond, one heart, or one spade, you have a wide range there between 13 and 21 points. So after your partner has bid, you need to be able to narrow it down some, unless they have limited their hand. Then you may not want to bid again, but you need to decide. At any rate, what you do is to show that you have a minimum hand of 13 to 15, that was just barely enough to open. You're going to rebid your suit, raise your partner's suit, bid a new suit, or bid the lowest no trump that you can bid. These are all ways to minimize your hand. Just rebidding your suit without jumping, raising your partner's suit without jumping, bidding a new suit, or bidding the lowest no trump that you can bid. Now, let's look at showing a medium hand, because showing a medium hand, 16 to 18, basically you're going to jump in either your suit or your partner's suit. If you don't like either one of those, you can bid a new suit. Now, you can see that if you bid a new suit, that's in the 13 to 15 range, and that's in the 16 to 18 range, both. So if you bid a new suit, if it goes like one diamond, one heart by my partner, one spade by me, that just shows that's just a new suit. So that is somewhere between 13 and 18 points. It doesn't narrow my hand that much. It narrows it a little bit. I'm either a medium or a minimum hand, but I'm probably not a maximum hand. So the new suit doesn't really limit your hand exactly, but your partner may pass it because it might be this lower one. And so unless your partner has extra points, they usually don't bid again. Then the top thing you can show is 19 to 21. That's kind of rare. We don't have that very often. But when you do have it, you can do a jump shift. So you jump a level and you shift over to a new suit. So that would be something like one diamond, one heart by my partner, 2 spades by me. That's a jump shift. See how I jumped over 1 spade and went to 2 spades.
But you just went up one level, not you wouldn't have gone to 3.
No, because I didn't need to. One heart, one diamond, one heart, 1 spade would be just a new suit. One heart, 1 diamond, 2 spades shows a maximum hand, 19 to 21 points, because I jumped over the 1 spade and went to a new suit. I jumped and shifted. Okay, that's a jump shift.
What's the reverse in the median hand?
Well, the reverse is kind of an advanced topic. The reverse is when you bid a suit, a new suit, that is higher than the original suit you bid. So that would be an example like 1 heart by me, 2 diamonds by my partner, 2 spades by me. Spades is higher than the original suit I bid, right?
Okay,
And so that is a reverse when I bid a suit higher, because ordinarily I will bid the highest suit that I can. But if I didn't, I bid a lower suit and then bid a higher suit, it generally shows extra points if you do it at the 2 level, forcing your partner to go to a 3 level. That's why we don't really discuss it or have to do it in beginning bridge. I just put it in here because a lot of people use this handout and some of them do no reverses, but you don't need to worry about them in here. Just treat any new suit as a new suit. Don't worry about whether it's a reverse or not. Okay, let's go down to the responder part, because the responder part is more involved than the opening. The opening, you just make a choice of what your opening is based on your priorities. But the responder has a lot of different things to think about. Did partner open a major or a minor suit? Do I have support? Do I not have support? Do I have a major suit of my own? Because we're always looking for a major suit. So we have to think about the priorities that the responder has to use for choosing the responding bid. Okay? So here are the priorities. First, raise partner suit, major suit, if you have support for their major suit. So if they opened hearts or spades and we have support for hearts or spades, that's the first thing we want to show, is that we do have support. And also remember this note, that when we have support, we revalue our hands using dummy points. 5 for a void, 3 for a singleton, 1 for a doubleton. So if we are going to raise partner suit, we throw out whatever length points we were talking about before and instead revalue our hand using these dummy points.
It's 1 for a double. You've got 2 on there, right?
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, that is wrong. That should right there. That should be 1 for a doubleton. I don't know how many times I've used this handout and you're the first person that's mentioned that. So well done.
Yeah.
I'll get that fixed. Okay, so that's our first priority. The second priority then is to bid a major suit, a 4-card major suit. I'm really having trouble with my highlighting today. Here we go. My cursor has to be kind of below it, apparently, to get it to work. Anyway, the next priority is if you have a 4-card major suit, mention that. If you can't raise your partner's major suit, mention your own 4-card major suit. Then the next priority is to bid no trump. And no trump has a specific meaning that we'll talk about in just a minute, but that's your next priority. We give our first priorities to the major suits, then the next priority to no trump, and the last priority is to bid or raise a major suit. Excuse me, a minor suit. Yes, if partner has opened a minor suit, your last priority is to raise that minor suit. If partner has opened something else, but you can't support it and you don't have a major suit, your last, and you can't bid no trump because you're not kind of balanced, then you can bid a minor suit of your own. But it's like the last priority of what you want to do. You'd prefer to do one of these other things first. So once we have the priority down for what we're going to do, then we need to think about, did partner open a major, or did partner open a minor suit, or you have no support for partner's major suit? So if partner opened a major suit and you've got support for the major suit, and that's just 3 cards, remember. All you need is 3 cards. Then you're going to do one of these things. If you have 0 to 5, you're going to pass. If you've got 6 to 9, you're going to raise to the 2 level, or jump to 4 if you have that weak freak we've discussed. Remember, the weak freak is not many points, 6 to 9 points, but 5 in the suit. We jump to 4. So 1 heart, 4 hearts. But ordinarily, unless we've got that really long number of cards in the trump suit, we just raise to the 2 level. With 10 to 12, we raise to the 3 level. That's called a limit raise. And then when we have 13 or more, usually we bid a new suit. Now we do that because we know we should be able to play in 4 hearts or 4 spades. If partner has opened that and we've got support and we've got 13 points, we know we can play there, but we have some time to develop things. And if we just jump to game, that describes that weak freak hand, and partner will think, well, he can't bid on. If we bid a new suit, though, partner is going to have to go bid again and will describe to us more what his hand is like. If he has a jump shift hand, the maximum hand, we're talking about slam. And if you're a few points over 13, you have 15, 16 points, and he is a medium hand, you also still may be talking about slam. So that's why we bid a new suit first. It gives us more time to explore, but we know we are not going to stop before we get to 4 hearts or 4 spades. Okay. So that is the column for a major opening with support, with at least 3 card support for your partner. Now, if partner is open to major and you do not have support, or if partner is open to minor suit and you want to, and so you need to respond to that. With 0 to 5, you'll still just pass, but with 6 to 9, you'll bid a new suit. And remember, our priority is to bid a 4-card major if we have it. So if partner is open to minor suit and we have 4 hearts or 4 spades, we'll bid that. If partner opened hearts and we don't have support for hearts, then we can bid a spade if we have a spade, and 6 to 9 points. Or if we can't do any of those things, we bid 1 no trump. Because remember, you cannot go to the 2 level unless you have 10 points. So if partner opened 1 spade and we have really nice clubs, but only 8 points, we cannot bid 2 clubs. We have to have 10 points to say 2 clubs. So we would have to say 1 no trump. Then if you're in this more medium range of 10 to 12, then you can either bid 2 no trump. That shows exactly 10 to 12 and a balanced hand. Or you can bid a new suit. And this is, of course, if you have 10 points. Or if partner bid a minor suit and you have a lot of cards in his minor suit, you can jump in that minor suit. That would be your last priority of what to do, though. Because bidding or raising a minor suit is our last priority. We want to do one of these other things if we can, but sometimes we can't. So we do have to bid a minor suit or jump in a minor suit. And then with 13 or more, you can bid 3 no trump. You can bid 3 no trump, or you can just name a new suit and then wait to see what partner does. Okay, questions on any of this?
Now on 13 and plus, your new suit, could you have 4 cards or do you need 5?
No, you can have 4 cards. For these responses by the to the opener, you can always have 4 cards. You're not required to have 5 cards, unless we're talking about raising their minor suit. If partner opened 1 club and you're thinking about raising that, you need to have 5, because very frequently they'll only have 3.
Okay.
So how does the opener know whether you're giving them a new suit at the 6 to 9 or 13 plus?
That's a good question. They don't. That's why you have to wait to hear what the opener is going to say next. It,
I see.
it nearly always takes the opener 2 bids to describe their hand unless they bid 1 no trump first.
Okay.
So it takes them 2. So you, the responder, are going to be the one that's in the first position to know where you belong. Because it takes them 2 bids, their first bid and whatever their rebid is. After they've done their rebid, then you know where you belong. Usually you have a better idea of where you belong. The responder does. The responder is usually the one who knows. Now, when the responder is not the one who knows, is if you made any limiting bid, and the limiting bids are 1 no trump, 2 no trump, 3 no trump, raising to 2 or raising to 3 for the major opener. In other words, any bid that limits you to a specific range of points, then the opener knows first how high you belong. Does that make sense to everybody? If the responder bids a new suit, you're not limiting your hand at all. So opener needs to limit their hand for you. And then you become in the position to make a decision. But if as responder, you have limited your hand with your first response, then it's the opener's responsibility to decide what to do. And usually if they bid a new suit, you'll bid again. Although as we talked about for the opener, a new suit can be a minimum hand or a medium hand. So it's not strictly forcing. The forcing versus non-forcing, let's look at that just a minute here. And that's in the middle here between the opener and the responding. The non-forcing bids are the easiest to remember. What is a non-forcing bid? A non-forcing bid is when you raise your suit, you raise your partner's suit, or you bid the lowest no trump you can bid. Basically, any bid that limits your hand, raising your suit, or rebidding your suit, raising your partner's suit, or bidding the lowest no trump limits your hand. That's what right up here. Remember, that's exactly what we do when we are trying to limit our hand to a 13 to 15 point hand. It's we either raise our suit, raise our partner's suit, or bid the lowest no trump. And then a forcing bid is just about anything else. It's usually any new suit that you name. Unless it's the opener naming a new suit, and then it's not strictly forcing, but you're probably safer to treat it as forcing than to not treat it as forcing. Questions on this? Because this is kind of, so far, the class in a nutshell is on this piece of paper, with the exception of my little typo here, which I need to fix. Okay, then let's go on to something else. Okay, I want to talk now about making a plan. Because we spend a lot of time talking about bidding, because bidding is the thing about bridge that's really different. If you've played any trick-taking game, you kind of know how to play the cards and don't need to learn that part. But bidding is what's real different about bridge. So we spend most of our time talking about bridge. But we also need to talk about how to play the hand, because playing the hand in bridge is different than some of the other trick-taking games, because you can see 2 hands. You can see your hand and the dummy's hand always. So you can see 50% of the cards. This provides a little bit different spin than any of the other trick-taking games, because your strategy can be different. You know a lot more about the hand, and you have heard bidding from people, so you have a lot more idea about what they may have. So it's really kind of different. Both defense and the play of the hand are things that we need to study, in addition to the bidding that we spend most of our time studying. So this making a plan is what the declarer does as soon as the opening lead has been made and they can see the dummy. They should make their plan. And Audrey Grant refers to this as the ABCs. And as I told you, she stretches some to come up with the A, the B, and the C, but still, the principle of the thing is correct. So the first thing is assess the situation. That's the A, assess the situation. Figure out what your goal is. How many tricks do you have to have? And we know that from the bidding, right? If we've bid 3 no trump, we have to take 9 tricks. If we've bid 2 diamonds, we have to take 8 tricks. So based on the bidding, the contract you have, what is your goal? Then you look at both hands and count your sure tricks. How many tricks can you be sure that you have? And then you need to figure out how many extra tricks do I need? Ordinarily, unless you're way off, ordinarily you can count within 1 or 2. Once you do this, looking at your goal and looking at the sure tricks. And so then the thing is, figure out where are these extra tricks that I need going to come from? And for that, you do B, browse your checklist. Browse the checklist. The checklist is this. There are only 4 ways that you can come up with extra tricks. It may seem like a lot of different ways, and some things are more complex than others, but they all just boil down to one of these things. Finessing, which is leading a card towards a card that you want to win a trick. If you have just a king sitting in dummy and you don't have the ace, the queen, anything else, but you need to make that king good, you can lead a small card towards the king. And you would hope that the ace is going to be on the side between you and the king. In other words, if you're sitting south and your partner's north, you want the ace to be in the west hand. You lead a small card towards your king. If west plays the ace, that's okay. They were always going to win the ace, but now your king is good. If the card is on the east side, you're going to lose your king, but that's always true. It's a 50-50 proposition. The only way to be sure that your king never wins a trick is to lead your king when you don't have the ace. Then the ace is going to win the trick. But you can play a 50-50 proposition by leading a small card towards the king. And there's a bunch of, that's the kind of just boiled down simplest example. There are tons of examples of when to finesse, because you might have the ace queen and be finessing for the king. You might have the ace queen jack and be missing the king. You might have the ace king jack and are missing the queen. There are just a lot of different ways that you might finesse. But you need to remember that a finesse is always a 50-50 proposition. You can't improve the odds. It just is what it is. But you can play it correctly based on the lay of the cards. And we'll look at some examples in just a second of the finesses. So the finesse is one way you can get another trick. Promotion is another way you can get a trick. If you have the queen, king, queen, jack, 10, 9 of a suit, but you're missing the ace, as soon as the ace is played, all the rest of those cards are good. So they get promoted as the cards go away. Or if you're missing the ace king and you have the queen, jack, 10, 9, after the ace and king are played, you have cards that have promoted up. They are now the top cards. That's what promotion is. Length is where you may not have any top cards, but you have a long suit between you and your partner. If you have 8 or 9 cards in the suit, even if they have all the top cards, by the time you have played it several times, those little cards that you have are going to be the winners because there are no more in the suit. And it's sort of the same thing as promotion. You've moved those up the line, but it's because you had a long number of cards between you and your partner that the ones that are left become good. And then the last way that you can get extra tricks is trumping in dummy. Only trumping in dummy gets you extra tricks, because when you first count up your tricks, you're going to count the the total trump tricks that you have. And if you have, say, 5 trump tricks, because you have the ace, king, queen, jack, 10 in your hand, and you've got the 2 and the 3 and the 4 in dummy, well, the 2 and the 3 and the 4 are going to fall underneath your ace, king, queen, jack, 10. Does that make sense to everybody? So that's only 5 trump tricks. But what if you have a void in dummy? And before you pull the trumps out of the dummy to pull the trumps of the opponent's hands, you lead one of that void suit, your void in clubs, you lead a club and you play the 2 of trump on it. Well, now that's an extra trick, because the ace, king, queen, jack, 10 plus the 2 are now going to take the trick. So that's how you get extra tricks, is by trumping in dummy. Then the last thing is consider the order. And here we usually, the thing that, as far as we've gotten now, and we'll talk about some of the rest of these later, but generally we want to draw trump first. We want to get it, the trump pulled in out of the opponent's hand, so they can't provide us with any nasty surprises that we don't like, where they trump in. We want to get the trump out of their hand so they can't use them. That's usually the first thing we do. The time we don't do it is if we need to use some of our little trump to trump in dummy. Then we may need to wait a little bit before we do that. Okay, questions on any of this? Okay, so then let's look at a couple of hands. I'm setting up a table here, but you guys don't need to go on BBO today. Okay. Let's look at this hand. This north hand is the dealer. We've got here 6, 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 4 is 19 points in this hand. What will we open this hand?
One club.
1 club, very good. We can't open no trump, our first priority, because we don't have 15 to 17. We don't have a 5-card major, so we can't do that. So we have to open our best minor suit, and we have equal length minor suits, but they're 3-3. So when we are 3-3 in the minors, if it was 4-4, we'd open diamonds, but 3-3, we open clubs. So 1 club. But that's a really good hand, isn't it? 19 points. Okay, then this hand is going to pass. Now let's look at this hand, the south hand. We've got 7, 8 points. What is this hand going to bid?
One spade.
1 spade. Our partner's opened a minor suit, and our first priority is to bid a 4-card major if we have one. So we'll say one.
Four hearts. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong hand.
Yeah, you need to be looking at the south hand. Because
Ah, okay.
east hand
Sorry.
passed. Yeah, down here at the south hand.
Yep.
Okay, the west hand now is going to pass. Okay, now what is the north hand going to bid now?
No trump,
No trump. How many no trump?
probably 3. I would.
No trump.
Well, you know that partner has 6 points and you've got 19 points. And so I think that would not be a bad bid. 3, no trump. Does that make sense? Because you've got 25 points and 25 right between you, 19 and 6, at least 6 is 25, and that's a game in no trump. So 3, no trump.
Now, let me ask you this. In order to go to the 2 and 3 no trumps, you have to have a balanced hand.
Exactly
So
right.
and I know that that one was balanced, but
Mhm.
if it would have had a singleton, would that have stopped you?
Yes, it would have stopped
Agreed.
me, because if I had a singleton, I would have more cards in another suit somewhere.
Yeah.
And so then I would have another suit to bid, or I might rebid my clubs, or I might be able to raise my partner's spades. But since this was such a balanced hand, you're right, we need to do no trump. Okay, so everybody else is going to pass them. And now it is East's turn to lead. So what will we lead out of this hand?
Five.
The 5 of diamonds. Why?
Fourth down, longest
Okay.
suit.
Very good. We like to lead the top of a sequence if we can, but we don't have a sequence here. So then we lead our longest suit. And when we lead our longest suit, we lead the 4th down from our longest suit, just because that's traditional. If you lead the lower one, that's not terrible. So either the 5 or the 3, but the 5 is the best. Okay, this now that we can see the dummy, the north hand can see the dummy's hand. If we were really playing this at a table, this is the first time that north has been able to see what south has in their hand. So as north is now looking at this, north makes their plan before they do anything, before they call for a card from dummy. You could just look at this dummy and go, well, I'm just going to play the 2 of diamonds, right? You could just think that, but don't do that. Here, it probably wouldn't make any difference, but there are a lot of hands where the first thing you do can mess up the whole hand for you. So always stop. Take a minute. You're going to have to, think for a minute, pause, and make your plan to come up with something. So let's look and see what our plan should be. Let's look at spades between the north and the south hand. First of all, how many tricks do we need to take?
9.
9 tricks at 3 no trump. Very good. So let's count how many tricks we have. How many tricks do we have in spades?
4.
4. The ace, king, queen, and jack, going back and forth between the 2 hands. Okay, so 4 spades. How many do we have in hearts? Sure tricks.
1.
Just 1.
1.
How about diamonds?
1.
1.
1. And how about clubs?
2.
2. Okay, so we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're missing 1 trick. Where can we get that other trick from?
Lead low from south to the clubs and hope that the queen is in west hand.
Okay, does everybody see that? We have here the ace, king, and jack of clubs. We can get our last trick, the 9th trick we need, if we can make the jack good. And how would we make the jack good? We lead a low card towards the jack. That's a finesse. we want to finesse the queen. We are hoping that the queen is over here in the west hand. If the queen is over here in the east hand, we're going to lose. But that's just the way it is. We can't do anything about that. The only hope we have is to get that queen. Because look, we don't have any chance of developing anything in hearts or diamonds, right? We don't have the length we need. We only have 6 cards in each suit. They've got more cards than we do in hearts and diamonds. So we can't hope to develop anything there. They are the ones that have more cards than we do in those 2 suits. So the only thing, so promotion or length isn't going to work. The only thing that can work is if maybe we can make that jack of clubs good. So in order to do that, we have to figure out how to get over here to this hand, right? Because to make that finesse, we have to lead a little club. So how can we get over to this hand?
We lead a spade
Right.
to the ace or king.
Very good. We can get there with the ace or king. So we're in pretty good shape there. So now that we have our plan, we know we have 8 tricks. We know we have to finesse for that club. Then that's our plan. Now, the only thing we need to worry about is what order do we do things in? And so the order we should do things in here is generally, if we are afraid we're going to lose something, we lose it up front. We try our tricks first, because if you cash all of your winners first and then try the losing one, you don't have any way to stop them from running the suits that they're going to run, and you may not be able to do what you want to do. So we play a low diamond, and that also follows the rule second hand low, but that's what we know we need to play. West needs to play the queen because third hand plays high. Do you see there the third hand? 5 of diamonds was first, 2 of diamonds was second. Now this is the third person to play. They play the queen. We go ahead and win our ace. Now, it's a little dangerous because look, diamonds are not stopped. If they win something now and come back with a diamond, we'll be in trouble. So we have to really hope that our club finesse works. So we need to go back to the south side, but look at our spades. We can't just go over and win our ace of spades, because if we do that, we will not be able to take 4 spade tricks. Do you see that? We won't have the right transportation. So we need to first play the queen of spades. And then the jack of spades. And now we lead our 3 of spades. And now we better play our ace of spades, because we're not going to be over here again, right? Because we're about to leave this hand when we lead our little club, and we won't be able to play it again. So we better play our ace of spades while we're still here. And now we cross our fingers and start the drum roll and hope that the queen is in the west hand, and it is. So what card should West play? West cannot see this hand. They can't see the ace, king, jack. They can just see the 7, 6, 4, 2 of clubs. So what do you think West should play? Well, what is our rule about what you usually play in that position, in second position?
Second low.
Second hand plays low. So generally, West, not knowing anything else, is going to play low. They're going to want to hold on to their queen as long as they can. So they're going to play the 3. And now we play what card?
The jack.
The jack. Because we're hoping, okay, fingers crossed, hope this jack wins. This the Jack's gonna win, right?
Mhm.
Now let's back up for just a second. What if West decides, oh, I think I'm going to play the queen. Against all the rules, I'm going to play the queen. If West plays the queen, we still are good, right?
Yeah, because then we take it with the ace and the jack is still good, or with the
Right.
queen.
We take it with the ace or the king, and now we still have the ace and the jack, and the queen is gone. So it still works for us. So when we do a finesse, whether they play it or they don't play it, doesn't make any difference to us, because we can, that gives us the chance to either play or not play our card. So if they have the queen and they play it, fine, we play the ace or the king. If they have the queen and they don't play it, we play the jack. And the only time that's going to go wrong is if the queen was really over here in the east hand. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So then they're just going to play. And now we just can take the rest of our tricks, because we know that we are going to be able to take 9 because we already counted. So I'm just cashing the ones that I know are good. Okay. And now they're going to win the rest of the tricks. But I don't care, because I have my 9 tricks. See over here, it tells me I've got my 9 tricks. Is everybody okay with this? You see how this plan thing works?
Don't think I can do it, but I can see when you're doing it.
Well, that's okay, because you got to practice at it some. This was not my first rodeo looking at this hand. So you just have to practice it some. You just have to, but the key ingredient is to stop and make the plan, because so many people just start playing and thinking, okay, well, I hope this works out. Maybe something good will happen.
That's me.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I do that sometimes too. But believe me, if you stop and make a plan, you can figure a lot of this kind of thing out, where you know you need to make it and you need to do a certain thing in order to make it. Like we had to take that club finesse. It could have not worked and then we would have been down, but that's okay. We need to be able to go down and bridge. Bridge is not an exact science. You can make the exact correct bid, as we did here. This the bidding here, remember, was 1 club, 1 spade, 3 no trump, I think it was. Anyway, so we know that that was the technically correct bid. Sometimes it doesn't mean you did anything wrong. So as beginners, you need to not feel bad if you've gone down. Maybe you misbid, maybe you misplayed, but maybe you bid and played exactly correct and it wasn't there on that hand. So don't be upset if you go down. It happens sometimes. Okay, let's look at this hand. Let's see what hand I have. Okay, this hand is going to pass, right? North is going to pass. They have 7, 8, 9, 10 points. So pass. East has 6 points. They're going to pass. Let's look at the south hand. South
Pass.
has 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They going to bid?
No.
No.
No, they're going to pass. Now we come around to the west hand. What is West going to bid?
One diamond.
Okay. They've got 12. They've got 3
Okay.
aces. So that's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 points, and a really good diamond suit. So they're going to bid 1 diamond.
Now, why wouldn't they have bid 1 no trump? Because that seems to be the magic number.
That is the magic number, and that is our first priority. But remember, it needs to be a balanced hand. We've got the correct number, 17, 15 to 17, but it's not balanced. Balanced means we have no more than 1 doubleton, and we cannot have a singleton, and we cannot have a void. And we're going to talk about more about this Wednesday. But anyway, so this is a 1 diamond bid. North still has to pass.
Yes.
Now let's go over to the east hand. What is East going to bid? East has 6 points. What are they going to bid? They actually have 6 plus 1, because 1 for the extra length in clubs. So they've got 7 points.
2 clubs.
2 clubs. They like their clubs, don't they? Because they have 5 of them.
But they
what's-
don't have enough points.
Exactly
One
right.
no trump.
How many points do they have to bid 2 clubs?
Well, that's 2 clubs. I'm thinking if you open, it's got to be 22 points, but
That's correct.
they're
but
not
this is-
opening.
That's right. That's responding. But to bid a new suit at the 2 level, how many points do you have to have?
10 to 12.
10 plus, 10 plus. So you need to remember that if you don't have 10 points, you cannot bid a new suit at the 2 level. And when we cannot bid a new suit, but we have between 6 to 9 points, we have to bid something, and the something we bid, and see, we would like to have 4 hearts or 4 spades, but we don't. And we can't support partner, so we're going to bid 1 no trump. 1 no trump doesn't say very much about our hand. It just says, I've got some points, partner. Remember when I made you promise me that you would always bid with, always respond if you had 6 points? A lot of times that response is going to be 1 no trump because you don't have anything else to bid. The south hand passes. Then we come back over here to our 17-point diamond hand. What are they going to bid after that 1 no trump bid?
Two diamonds.
2 diamonds. Well, they do want to bid diamonds again, but 2 diamonds would be a minimum bid. That would show 13 to 15 points.
Oh.
What are you eating?
So what are they going to bid then? If they're not going to bid 2 diamonds, but we think they got to bid diamonds, what should they bid?
3 diamonds.
3 diamonds. Now, they know that partner is somewhere between 6 to 9, or Audrey Grant says 10 points, 6 to 10 points. So since partner has 17, if partner just had 13 points, they just bid 2 diamonds and that'd be the end of it. But because they've got 17 points, and because if partner had at the upper end of their range, 9 or 10 points, they might have a game. They're going to want to go ahead and bid 3 diamonds. North is still going to pass. So what is East going to do and respond to West 3 diamond bids? We know West is somewhere between 16 and 18 points.
Pass.
Pass. We just have 17 points, right? If they have 18 and we've got 7, maybe, but the chances of them having 18 instead of 16 or 17 is not that great. And our hand is pretty weak. As a matter of fact, the only reason we can say we have 7 is because we have this 5th club that's probably not going to be very useful. So we're just going to pass and play 3 diamonds. Okay, so we're playing, the contract is 3 diamonds. This hand is going to be leading. The North hand is going to be leading, and when is North going to lead?
Hearts.
Ace of hearts.
The Ace of Hearts. That hearts is definitely right, and the heart will lead is the Ace of Hearts, because if we have touching honors, we lead the top of touching honors. That's a sequence. So we're going to lead the ace. Now, West is the declarer. West needs to make a plan. They can see East's hand. So let's think about this plan that they might make. They have bid 3 diamonds. So how many tricks do they need to take?
9.
9 tricks. 9 tricks. So how many can we count? How many can we count in spades?
1.
1. How many sure tricks can we count in hearts?
None.
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 How many sure tricks can we count in diamonds?
5.
Well, we've got the ace,
Seven.
king, queen, jack, 10. And by the time we get
Six.
down to that, our 8 and our 7 are going to be good.
6 in diamonds.
6 in diamonds. And how many in clubs?
One.
1. So we have 1, 6 is 7, plus 1 is 8. We have 8 tricks. How many do we need to take?
9.
9. So where is that 9th trick going to come from?
Maybe from spades.
Maybe from spades. Notice it's not from trumping clubs in here, because we would have to trump clubs with tricks that we've already counted. We'd only get an extra trick if we could trump with the 4 of diamonds, which we can't. There's no shortness over here. So we can't trump. So the only place is we hope we can make that queen of spades good. What is the only way we can make that queen of spades good?
Get the king.
Yeah, hope that the king is in the north. We lead a small card towards the queen, hoping that the king is in the north hand. If it is, the queen will be good. If it's over here, we can't get that good, and we aren't going to be able to make our contract. Okay, so that's our plan. We are going to try the finesse of the queen of diamonds. We're going to try to finesse the king is actually why we're doing, to make our queen good. But before we do that, we're going to draw in our trump, because we don't want them to be able to trump anything before we try that finesse. Okay, but still they've led the ace of hearts, so we need to deal with that. So we'll play low, and then they'll play the king, and we'll play low, and then they'll lead a little one, and we still just have to follow suit. And now they've taken all of those heart tricks. What do you think they might lead next? Remember, they can see the gray hand. They can't see my hand, the west hand. So what will this hand lead next?
Club.
King
Yes,
of clubs.
the king of clubs. Very good. The king of clubs. We get to take it with the ace of clubs. Okay, now we want to draw our trump in. And let me ask you this, is it important where we wind up to take the finesse?
Yeah.
Yes, we have to be over in this hand, don't we? To
West.
take the
Yeah.
finesse. But naturally, we're going to wind up over there because that's where all our trump are. So the first thing we're going to do is lead a small card and play the big card from the short side first, the high card from the short side first. That's a rule we usually follow. This keeps us from getting stuck in the wrong place. Now we lead a little diamond back. Okay, now I had 6 plus 2. I had 8 trump to start. That meant there were 5 out. I've played them twice. They followed each time. That means they've played 4. That means there's 1 more out. So I need to lead trump 1 more time to draw their last trump in. And now what am I going to do?
The 3 of spades.
The 3 of spades. And let's think about something. We're only worrying about the king of spades, right? Whether or not we can get our queen good by where the king is. So because we could trump anything else, our ace is always going to be good. But we can either play the ace first and then lead towards the queen, or not play the ace first and lead towards the queen. Do you see that? It really doesn't make any difference whether we play the ace first or not. The only advantage we get with playing the ace first is if there happens to be a singleton king somewhere. That's not likely, but it is a possibility. So I'm going to play the ace first. It's not
Okay.
necessary, but it doesn't hurt. And now I'm going to play that low card and keep my fingers crossed that my queen is going to be good. So what is North going to do?
Play the 10.
Second low, play the 10.
They would play second hand low, but what do they know about their king?
It's high.
It's high because I played the ace already, right?
Mhm.
So what are they going to do?
They're gonna play it.
They're going to
Yeah,
play their
take it.
king. Is that okay with us?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I'm
we-
just going
Yeah.
to play a little one. Now my queen is still good, right?
Mhm.
Now, why would they play the king instead of the 10? Because, I mean, the 10 would have won the trick anyway.
Well, the 10 can't win the trick because my queen would win the trick. And then I might not lead another spade. They might not be able to get their king. By the time you're this far down in the play of the hand, usually you don't follow the second hand low and third hand high as much because you know more about what's going on with the hand. So if the guy knows his king is good, he better take it right now before it goes away. So he takes his king, and then it doesn't make any difference what he leads back because I can trump anything. So he can lead this heart, doesn't make any difference. And I'm going to trump it. And now I'm going to take my 7 of spades and win with my queen. And now I have the last 2 trump left that are good. So they've taken 4 tricks and I'm going to take 9 tricks. That gives me my contract. Does that make sense to everybody?
Mhm.
Mhm.
All right. All right. So that's how you make a plan. Okay, so that's it for today's review. On Wednesday, we're just going to spend the whole day on learning everything we can about no trump. All right.
Very good.
I'll see you
Thank
then.
you.
Thanks for
Thank you,
coming.
Yeah,
Ellie.
thank
Thanks,
you.
Ally.
All right. See you
Bye-bye.
Wednesday.
Thank
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
you.
Bye.